if you just took 300 basis points of drag
Yes.
out of the global economy,
Massive
how
gains.
valuable would that be? And I think it would be valuable just in the United States alone to the tune of $1 trillion.
2025 is set up for a massive year for Ripple and XRP. This is the point of no return where blockchain technology goes through this mass adoption cycle where you're going to see utility kick in and the use of this technology, not just as an asset to invest in, but to rewire the financial system of the future. First on deck is payments and stablecoins. And I think as an investor, what you look at, we know stablecoins right now, the biggest network there is Ethereum. But you're looking for those undervalued networks, those ones where they don't see the future, they don't see what's coming. And I think XRP is one of those that have a chance to capture a lot of this market share for payments and for stablecoins. And this is the perfect time. Listen to this clip from All In Podcast here. And Chamath is going to walk us through how big stablecoins are going to be in 2025. This is going to change everything.
I would say that the big trend in 25 is stablecoin usage. I think we're going to finally attack the duopoly of Visa and Mastercard. I think you're going to see an innumerable number of use cases that sit and use stablecoin rails. I think when Donald Trump becomes president, I think you're going to see him go after incredibly high credit card transactions and costs.
And what he's going to say, and it's true, that the old system, it's a drain on the economy. It's a drag on growth. And they have to do this. They have to upgrade to the future. And this is cross-border payments. These are domestic payments. How we do everything needs to be rewired. Now, a lot of people say, okay, that's fine. I believe they're going to use RLUSD, but what does that do for XRP? We've seen this so many times before, whether it's stablecoins on Ethereum, whether it's DeFi. I was around when Ethereum was $80 to $250, and people said, well, all these things, they're not going to matter for the ETH token. What has happened? You've seen that network grow in value, that token continue to go up. We've seen it with Solana, Sui, where we're talking about gaming and NFTs and all sorts of stuff. The more valuable transactions you capture with the network, you are going to see that native token go up in value in a big way. And there's so many things we can build off of that. If Ripple's sending payments with RLUSD, we can dip into that for applications, all sorts of stuff. XRP becomes more liquid on the XRP Ledger. And again, it's a native asset that will be used for bridging. You want to see real world problems being solved with the XRP Ledger, and that's going to lead to a higher XRP price over time. Don't get fooled into this. Well, if you don't use XRP for every single little use case, it's not going to help us. No, it's going to help us in a big way. We want the XRP Ledger used to solve institutional problems, retail problems. We want a useful network, and the XRP token is going to go up in value.
You're already seeing cracks in consumer credit anyways because of these high APRs. All of this stuff is going to come to a head in 2025, I think. And I think stablecoins could quadruple or quintuple by the end of 25. I think it's just going to be an enormous market.
Great choice. Should they be regulated, Chamath? We saw at some of these congressional hearings, Tether was kind of dragged for being the primary transfer and monetary tool for terrorism, for getting around sanctions, and for human trafficking. Should it be regulated?
First of all, of course, we know it's going to be regulated. It's also what makes, again, RLUSD so exciting. It's built from the ground up at the perfect time. From day one, it's regulatory compliant. Ripple and all their systems are going to, have KYC and AML, and it's built for the future, which is a regulated stablecoin product. And this is why stablecoins don't replace crypto. You have your need for immutable money that cannot be taken or seized. And that's not the case with stablecoins, is it? With a stablecoin, they can take away the dollars that back that stablecoin, then it's worthless. They can claw it back. They can freeze it on most networks. Like, you still need your native crypto for a lot of things, but most of us, even if we are not your keys, not your crypto, self-custody, really, cryptocurrency enthusiasts at the highest level, we probably also have bank accounts, and we use dollars in our bank accounts to pay our mortgage and pay for our electricity and our regular bills and whatever you spend your money on. We have these two financial systems running in parallel right now. Well, now we're just talking about, let's take both of these and integrate them both on the blockchain. And now you have what you had before with your bank account, but it's going to run on blockchain technology. It's going to be safer, more cost effective, and it's just going to change the world, because everything is going to run through these systems of the future incorporated within blockchain. And it doesn't get rid of your need for cryptocurrencies, but it sure does a big upgrade to traditional finance. And it's going to see a big increase in the value of these native assets.
And how?
I don't think I'm qualified to say how it should, but I think the point is that there are these immutable logs that sit in between and on either side of all of these transactions. And so I think the knowledge is there, and there are a whole bunch of third-party services that add that intelligence layer. I think the thing to really question is, if you just took 300 basis points of drag out of the global economy,
massive gains.
How valuable would that be? And I think it would be valuable just in the United States alone to the tune of $1 trillion. So the idea that you wouldn't do it at this point is somewhat quizzical to me. So I just think that the economic justification for this now is just so profound. I would say that.
And that's the thing, where we find ourselves right now. We're going to have to do this. We're going to have to take the inefficiencies out of cross-border payments, out of the card systems. If you run a business, you know how costly that is. Now, my buddy Chip here put the following: Visa and Mastercard are more than just credit cards. They're established, reliable payment methods, deeply integrated in financial systems. I don't see how stablecoins could realistically displace them. First of all, credit cards offer convenience, global acceptance. This is the big one: fraud protection, and even the ability to defer payments, advantages that stablecoins simply don't provide. So I don't think stablecoin systems are going to completely get rid of cards and, Visa and Mastercard, but it can erode at that system, and things that don't need to run through those rails won't. They'll go to the more efficient rails. They might even give you a discount if you pay in stablecoins, because they don't have those big merchant fees. It's going to make things more streamlined, more efficient. And so even if you could just take a percentage of those really high cost payments off of there and make it instant, make it fast and cheap, that's the future there. And it's probably going to be some combination. So Chip is right. You're not going to get rid of Visa and MasterCard entirely, but they have to get these savings where they can, because, all these little things add up, and it is a drag on the growth of the economy in a big way. Brad Garlinghouse saying 2025 is here and the Trump bull market is real. And for Ripple, this is even more personal. After Gary Gensler's SEC effectively froze our business opportunities here at home for years. Isn't this a shift? Compared to the past, 75% of Ripple's open roles are now US-based. For a long time, it was overseas only. They're pulling a lot of that business back here, getting ready to rock and roll in 2025 as we look to make the US the crypto capital of the world. Now, we'll see how it plays out. They've also said we've signed more US deals in the last 6 weeks than all of 2024. You have these institutions, they're getting more and more comfortable. They're going to look at this as a viable opportunity because, now you're not going to have Gary Gensler or the FDIC or anyone knocking your door down. FinCEN, threatening to throw you in jail. Now this becomes an opportunity that entrepreneurs will lean into to save costs, to be more efficient, to upgrade to the future. Now is the time that happens. That's why it's so important in 2025. Raul Paul says the following. He believes that most people that went through the last bull run, 2021, they have PTSD because, you had that second leg where we would typically see a blow off top and it just didn't ever come in. Bitcoin just barely beat its previous high. Ethereum, again, didn't go up a whole heck of a lot. XRP, I don't even think reached its $1.80 high again from earlier in the cycle. And so it's his idea that this time people are going to sell way too early. Let's listen to what he says.
In last cycle, and that was their first cycle, they have tremendous PTSD because they looked back on the 2017 cycle. And 2017, the market peaked in March before tax season. It then corrected. So it peaked at 2000. It then kind of corrected. And then it went up. It went up 10x in 4 months.
You had
to
the China
20,000.
correction in between as well.
And so last time, I also thought, okay, we saw the tax season correction, then the rally back up. It was a big correction, down 50. Then it shot up, and it's like, okay, it's going to be 2017 again. And it
I didn't think it was going to be 2017, but I refuse to believe that the bull run was over, that, Bitcoin wasn't going to cross 100,000. I thought, there'd be a settlement and XRP would, have its final boom. I refused to believe until Luna blew up in our face, and I said, whoa, this thing's over. 2017 was such a crazy year. You have to understand this for comparison. When I first bought XRP, it just got done going up over 50x. And think about that today. If someone bought a token that went up 50x, what do you think would happen? You're going to lose all your money. No, the coin went up and over 10x farther from there after a 50x run. Like, there's not going to be another 17, of course, but what does the cycle look like? See, a lot of times it rhymes. It's similar. It has a flow to it, but it's never the same. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out for sure.
wasn't, because the central banks would start to withdraw liquidity, and the business cycle had been brought forward by the massive liquidity was starting to come away, and that was the end of that. So this time, when you go on X and you see people, they are so PTSD'd by that I think that many will sell tax season March and then get trapped out. And then they'll expect an early peak, and maybe it does peak. From my liquidity work, it still suggests that it peaks at the end of the year, towards the end of the year. But it depends what happens to liquidity. But if that is the case, I just think the risks are here. And then the risk is 2026 is the people who then sold out, maybe they screwed it up and maybe they got out like I did in 2017 way too early. You then try and buy it back, and you end up buying back at much higher prices, which is what happened to me. I ended up buying back in COVID in that crash, and I got in at 6,500, but I'd sold out at 2,000. And I'd done the job. I sold out into strength and bought into weakness. Difference was, in a secular exponential uptrend, the difference between that peak and that trough was like this.
Don't always think you can, like he's showing here, buy back in at a lower price. It doesn't work like that. I think he's absolutely right. My price targets, I'm going to sell 5-6 on 80% of my coins, and I absolutely believe that will be far too early, and I'm okay with that. I think these are prices we're going to hit, and it's an awful lot of money to me. But it's why I shifted and said, with my XRP holdings, I'm going to put 20% for the long run for this exact reason, because you don't know you're going to be able to ever buy back in at these prices again. And we're seeing a lot of this where now is the time for actual adoption. And we will see what Ripple can do, what the XRP Ledger can do. And it very well may do all the things we've talked about through all the years. And I'm just not going to throw that extra 20% away. Like, I can put that to the side and I can see where that goes over the long run. And I'm still getting a lot of cash, off the board to safety, and I can feel good about that. So I think he's right. Probably people do have a lot of PTSD out there. And I recognize that, and I recognize I'm not trying to call the top. And so to try to alleviate some of that, I'm going to say this is, a long-term investment. Let's just see what it does. We'll see how it plays out, though. Wall Street Bets, they put up this post here, the likelihood on Polymarket of XRP ETF in 2025 is coming in at a 71% chance. I think there is a high likelihood here. I think next on deck is either XRP or Solana. I'm an XRP fan, so I think XRP is going to be next, but I think both of those get done, and some other major cryptocurrencies next year. It's not just going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum by the time we hit the end of 2025. Now, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Dr. Branson here, if you know him, long time validator, maybe one of the oldest people running validators on the network, an operator. His work with the foundation, like, this guy knows his stuff. I saw people arguing, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about. This includes me and almost everyone out there. You don't know more than Dr. Branson, unless David Schwartz is listening, or maybe a few other people alive. Like, this guy knows his stuff, and he put out the following warning today. XRP Ledger failed to reach consensus on multiple ledgers today. Trusted UNL validators are going offline randomly in a large enough number to pause or fork the network. It's never all sunshine and rainbows. This is a tough time in XRP history. We're adding a lot of new features, new functionality. It's going through a turbulent time when people are exiting, people that have been around and running this network for years and years and years. They're shutting their stuff off. They're going away. You're going to see this happen at Ripple too. There's going to be shakeups. People are going to leave. This is a transitionary period, and we'll see where we land after this. But again, you hear all the moon talk, and we're going to take over the world. Pay attention to people like Dr. Branson. This is someone that actually cares about the XRP ledger and XRP being adopted for real use cases. He's not like me. I want to make money. I don't really care about the rest of it. This guy does. He devotes his life to it, and he has put in a lot of hard work. So again, it's never all perfect. Just understand that. And there are always risks. Again, we're going through a transitionary period with XRP Ledger, a lot of transactions, and that's being shown here by VET. Today, we had probably the largest ledger in history with 735 transactions in a single ledger. Look at this. Let me play this video so you can see it. Look at all these transactions. Just amazing. You know, and a lot of times in the past, I don't know exactly, you might see, 40 or 50 transactions, something like that, maybe 60. Like, this is a lot. And you're putting a lot more load on the ledger. I think it'll end up being fine, but we're going to add probably programmability, all sorts of stuff down the road. So just keep an eye on this stuff. Nothing's guaranteed, but you know what? It's still chugging along. It's still, finding consensus here. So as of now, everything looks good. Cointelegraph saying, which is going to be the biggest gainer in 2025, SWI or XRP? This is a deal. SWI is a much lower market cap. It's coin number 13, so it probably will, from now to the end of the market, put on a lot of extra gain percentage. But, people that are invested in Bitcoin, people that are invested in Ethereum, they understand you could throw a dart at a dartboard and probably get a cryptocurrency that will outperform from now to the end of the market, but it comes down to safety. And it's not that SWI is bad, but we saw last time with Solana where it came ripping up the charts all the way to, I don't know how high it got, maybe 5 or 6. And then what happened in the bear market? It went all the way down to 17. Like, some of these tried and true dinosaur coins, as some people would term them, there's a lot more safety in case you go over the ledge or the market ends up, not going as far as you would think, and the bear market hits earlier. Like, you have more safety with some of these higher end coins up the market cap. And so, again, I think SWI probably has more gain percentage, but that doesn't necessarily make it a better investment. And it's why I said, I have a lot of the dinosaur coins anchoring my portfolio because they're going to outperform S&P 500, most individual stocks. They're still going to do great. And then I also have these more emerging plays, things like SWI. I don't have any Solana, but if you do, you've done very well to date. You can add these in there as additions to your portfolio, but I wouldn't say, SWI is a better investment than XRP, just a different one. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.